There we are. We're live now.
We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Download.
Hello.
Hello.
It's another week has gone by. Another week of amazing things. We'd love to hear about what you've been up to. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we want to chat about. Let's start with some introductions. I'm going to go through on my screen. So, Nick, with the headphones, you're going to go first.
Hi, I'm Nick, aka That Video Nerd. I hang out a lot on LinkedIn, and I am an associate of Mr. Doyle, who is on my bottom. He's on your left. He's on my bottom left-hand corner.
Regularly.
What a great way to start the Digital Download, Nick.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Mr. Doyle is.
And Nick, you're Mr. Something with LinkedIn, aren't you?
I don't know if I can...
So there's something you can't mention, but there's other things you can mention, though, can't you?
Yes, yeah. I have my own creator community manager now at LinkedIn, and I'm also helping develop training content for LinkedIn for their new. They've basically got an existing training module platform, but they're kind of changing it up a little bit to make it a bit more humanized and a bit more creator focused. So I'm helping them with some of that as well, which is pretty exciting.
Fantastic. And happy Thanksgiving to you, Lenwood.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful Thanksgiving. We had beautiful weather here in New Jersey yesterday. 64 was the high in late November.
We've got snow here in Aberdeen. Snowing today. Properly snowing.
No, I don't want that. It's cloudy and rainy today. But anyway, I'm Lenwood Ross. I'm the founder and CEO of Accelerate. We focus on accelerating digital transformation through your people, and we're a partner of DLA Ignite.
Oh, Adam.
It's beautiful.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tim's business partner and co-founder of DLA Ignite. And I must say that this is, for me, always a lovely way to round out the week. You know, chatting with friends about the stuff that we've learned and debating points. It's great. It's a nice way to spend a Friday.
It really is, isn't it? If only we could add in some music, but maybe we could talk about that later.
And Eric.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Doyle from Crux, and I hang out with this gang, and we are digital transformation consultants. That's what we are. That's what we do, and that's what we add to the world.
So, who wants to go first?
Well, you found an interesting news item, didn't you, earlier in the week, Tim, about the cosmetics company?
Oh, Lush, yes.
Yeah. And I thought that, given the current kind of climate and what's going on, I would have thought that that's not a particularly smart move myself.
So explain
what's the background?
Explain to people what the background,
yeah. So Lush is a British-founded luxury cosmetics company, and I'm sure that most men that have walked past a Lush store will have thought it was a cheese shop to begin with. So you have like big blocks of interesting looking soap and such like in the window. Yeah. And like with cheese, they have like a wire cutter thing that they pull down over the soap, and it cuts it into blocks. And
you also know there's a Lush in town from about 6 miles away, don't you?
You do, because of the smell. You can feel it wafting up the street. And it's normally full, from both staff and customer perspective, of largely young women who are incredibly cool, the sort of people that just didn't exist when I was that sort of age. You know, really trendy, lots of earrings, but not sort of like a punk or a goth type look necessarily, but just incredibly cool. Or, you know, that they're all YouTubers and that sort of thing, aren't they?
Right, okay.
And so it, as an organisation, has been a very social organisation. It's got immense traction with that kind of segment of the market, and that's done loads of promoting and stuff for them as a business. And they announced that they were pulling out of social media earlier this week.
Yeah.
Oh, such a shame to see that business go down the toilet in about
and so
6 months' time.
it's important to say that what they're going to do is that they're going to concentrate on email marketing, and
Because we all respond well to that
and
these
their
days,
app.
don't we?
They know their target market well. Then
I have a question because I've never heard of Lush before because I'm obviously not in that market. Were they using like influencers to sell their stuff before on social media? Or
I think influencers chose to engage with their product. I mean, it's an incredibly funky store, and it's very much like a sort of the cosmetics and perfumery equivalent of an upmarket delicatessen. And there are all of these niche products, all made with natural products, all handmade, and they've got that very kind of artisan feel to the products and to the store itself. And there we are. Thanks, Eric.
Live demonstration.
Yes,
live demo of the kind of things that they do.
That kind of thing could just as easily be sweets and things, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Jellies and fudge and stuff like that, or some kind of pickled pig's trotters and prosciutto ham type thing. Anyway, I think that they've got loads of traction with those kind of people, and certainly my daughter, who's now 20, she used to be on the periphery of the big famous YouTuber world. And lots of those people chose to work when business was quiet, chose to work in the local Lushes. So they'd always got, whether they had engineered it or it just happened to be, bath bombs galore, whether it had happened to be by chance or by design, they'd always got loads of traction with people that had huge loyal followings. And
on their so they've always had since day one a no advertising policy, right?
Right.
So they haven't and don't spend a penny on any kind of organized advertising. They don't do any celebrity endorsements. Instead, they rely on user-generated content. So they've relied on user-generated content being shared on social media.
Yeah.
Okay. They did partner with RuPaul's Drag Race at one point. So they partnered with a lot of the drag artists and they created photo campaigns for their new products. They also allow staff to engage in random acts of kindness and share that on social media and relate it back to the brand. And they're also allowed to give products away to customers for free and take a photo, take a snap, and put that on social media. So they've always had a kind of like rebel guerrilla kind of social media backed advertising methodology without paid ads.
But this isn't the first time they've withdrawn from social media, is it? They actually withdrew before the pandemic and actually came back again during the pandemic.
It just pardon the pun, it just smells of a PR stunt to me.
Does it smell really strong of aromatics?
Really strong.
Yeah.
Like a sort of vanilla PR.
Vanilla and cardamom bath soap. Yeah, that kind of smell. Yeah, for a company that's relied on user-generated content to spread the word about its stuff, you would think that's cutting your nose up to spite your face.
You would actually. I hadn't even considered that this could be a PR stunt.
It's not. They've
think?
withdrawn before, so they'll do it. They've said it's a strategic thing, and it's for mental. Basically,
let's see how long it lasts.
So they've anchored it in mental health.
Yeah, that's interesting. So they're kind of latching on to this idea that maybe their target demographic, which I'm not sure, but maybe it's that younger female. They're not served by being on social media, so they, because that's the whole idea is that the young girls are on there and they're, taking on unrealistic beauty standards and all these kinds of things, and it's not good for their mental health to be on Instagram. So they're saying, "Hey, we're not going to be there. We don't want these girls on there looking for us, so we're gonna leave, and we'll connect with them via email." I mean, I get it.
My kids, so my daughter is 20, my son is 17. Basically, the only way that you can contact them is via some kind of messenger app. They don't respond to emails at all, and they often miss emails.
It's the same with my mother, and she's 83.
What's also interesting,
She hates emails. She says it's for old people.
Yeah, with you saying, Tim, about them focusing on email and app, what's quite interesting is that certainly amongst younger people, there seems to be a move away from apps. So, like, neither of my kids have got the Facebook app on their phone. They use Facebook through the web browser on their phone rather than have constant push notifications through the app.
So there is actually another company that has done this. I mean, Helen made a great example, saying that made a great point about the fact that there's a great case study here. There is actually another company that has done this. Oh, it went out of business. Sorry, Gap. Yeah, sorry, it closed down. We were in the shop and they said, we'll give you like money off if you go to our email list and go on our app. We're very lucky that we're privileged that we don't have to take that money off. We actually we paid more money not to be on the list and be on the constant.
Do you think an element of that is down to them not having any control of these platforms, and they want to take that control back? I think that's probably where some of it comes from, I guess.
It could well be that, but if you think about an organisation like Lush, they have not been subject to any trolling or anything like that, not in a massively obvious way. And in fact, these social platforms have definitely been their friends, haven't they?
I guess it's very tricky for the cosmetics companies, I've noticed, because when I sorry, Tim, have you got a
no,
I'm going to branch off. No, go for it. Yeah,
go for
it. On. All right,
crack on.
When I met Sarah, I didn't give a second. This is a terrible admission, but I didn't give a second thought to animal testing on any products in my life. Right? I didn't recognize it as being a thing. Sarah was incredibly involved in that before she met me, and carried it through into my life. So since I've met Sarah, we've been together for 15, 16 years. We've never had every single cleaning product, makeup product, cleansing product, shampoo product, or whatever is ethically sourced. Primarily, and this is her front and foremost point, is that it's not been tested on animals. But not just that the product says it's not been tested on animals, that none of the supply chain tests on animals as well. So that narrows down your shopping band even more. That narrows down.
Does that account for the odor? No.
Yeah. So we've got lots of lovely looking bottles in this house that are completely useless and don't do anything. But it was a huge thing, and I have noticed, like, around about Christmas time, where everyone's thinking about perfumes and colognes and things like that and nice stuff. So we don't buy any of the big brands, any of the well-known brands, because they've done clever things. Like, some of them have signed up to say that our finished products are not tested on animals, but there's some little part of it in the supply chain that is, and they're not. Or some of them are just downright saying, there's some big players out there who are just saying, we test on animals. That's it. We've got our beagle farms, and we do what we need to do, and we've got a plan in place to pull away from it, and we will pull away. But as we'll take the last day that we're allowed to do that to keep doing that. But I have noticed that cosmetic companies are under such scrutiny from PETA and all these organizations. If they make a slight mistake, man, it is just blown up. It is blown up completely. So it's incredibly, although they haven't had a blow up on social media. Maybe it's just the pressure of being completely ethical in cosmetics that's just too much. Plus the mental health thing.
So, Eric, did you want to put some slides?
I did, yeah. It's not related to Lush, though. It's kind of
it's 15. We've talked about that for 15 minutes.
Right, fair enough. We're
going to segue into this now.
Segue into this.
You'll see when you see the edit, you won't notice.
So slick,
seamless.
Is there some synergy between Lush and where we're going? See what I did there?
So we've spent so much time talking about lovely artisan soap. I thought it'd be nice, because it's really relevant to this group here, to talk about shampoo and conditioner.
Excellent.
A good move.
Yes, beard shampoo.
We are the most follically challenged group of. This must be the most follically challenged LinkedIn Live right now. My goodness me. No. In all
we all go
seriousness,
out for a short back and polish, don't we?
yeah. Can I have? Can you take a little bit off the top? Just that one. That one. I was lucky enough to be invited to speak at an event this week on social selling and influence, and I guess one of the slides that I put up, we've been talking about it for a while. It's been in our sort of presentation deck for a little while, but this whole concept of this is getting is getting deeper and deeper and deeper in my mind, and I know it's a subject that's front of mind for a lot of us, but it's the idea of the accessibility of thought leadership. The accessibility of thought leadership, which we said before on one of our previous lives, but I've pulled the concept out a little bit because it was kind of chucked in as a conversational topic. But back in the day, we spoke about the fact that thought leadership was the kind of like exclusive domain of PhD thinkers and CEOs and big global leaders and all of that. But actually, the whole idea of thought leadership and digital thought leadership is now accessible to anyone and everyone. And that's a beautiful thing. So I just wanted to, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm pretty rubbish at making this kind of thing work. Let me see. Share screen.
Says the person who runs his own.
Screen sharing. Right. I'm pretty rubbish about it on this particular platform.
You can select on StreamYard. You can select either a window or the whole screen. So if you select the window that the slide.
So when I'm going to share down at the bottom, share. Is that
or
right?
You can rejoin as another person.
This is all getting very complex now. Let me just have a little look here. My computer. I think I've got it.
Yeah.
I think I've got it.
Hit share screen, and then
share,
and then window.
Share screen.
Click window, and then you'll be able to select that particular window.
That's when you get synergy, Eric.
I gotcha. When you get.
Do you want me to be sick into this?
If you're going to be sick ASAP.
Mm.
Be sick
ASAP. You went there.
We went there. Right. I think I've done this now. Hold on 1 second.
Do you need to download you've got a PC, haven't you? So you need to download a patch or something.
No, I don't need to download a patch. Unfortunately, it doesn't want to share. Just give me 1 second. Just talk amongst yourselves. It's about the whole concept of thought leadership being accessible, and not just accessible, but necessary for everyone, every professional these days. I'm getting the spinning wheel of death when I'm trying to share right now.
Is anyone on here a Mac user? Yeah, just send it to one of us, Eric. We can share it for you. Don't worry.
You just push a button this end, and it works.
So while you're working that out, Eric, shall we go? Nick, you got some stuff. You went down a rabbit hole, didn't you, this week?
I did, yeah, and it was down to you actually. It was the live that you did a little while ago, a few weeks back with Porrick about metaverse. With
Porrick Costello, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, so after that, I've never watched something so intently as I did that. After that, I jumped on YouTube and I went down a massive metaverse rabbit hole. So I started looking at things like Decentraland, which is a persistent online universe where you can buy tracts of land in there. And the cheapest I found so far when I went on the marketplace was around $4,000.
What?
Some of these range, yeah, for virtual. The gold rush has already started. Yeah, the gold rush has already started. It's insane. And then I went on to another one called Crypto Voxels, I think it was, where you could buy tracts of land as well for about 1.46 Ethereum, which is around nearly 4,500 Great British pounds. So yeah, the gold rush has already started in terms of
get in quickly, Nick. Get in there while you can, mate.
Porrick is on Somnium Space.
He's on, what did you say?
Somnium Space. SOMNIUM Space.
Yeah, there's a lot of these spaces.
So for the audience, Porrick, I did an interview with him the other week. He's bought land on the metaverse and built 2 art galleries. He's actually got 3. He's got a private one, but he's got 2 public ones, and they've got NFTs hanging in them.
I've even started to learn because I've got Procreate and I've had Procreate on my iPad, which is a drawing app. I've had it on there for about 1.5 years now. I've even started to in the evenings do YouTube tutorials on how to use Procreate so I can get some of my first NFTs out there. But I know Eric, who has one over his shoulder, is already a big painter, so he needs to think about digitizing those somehow or creating digital artwork. And,
Yeah, he needs to paint with his Oculus and his hand controllers. So to do
in real time, that would be cool
in that space.
Eric, have you? Oh, there we go. 2 Erics.
We've got two Doyles. Is the one on the right the Max Headroom Doyle?
Tim, has Eric issued an NFT so we know which one's a forgery and which one's real?
I can tell you that one's not worth much.
Yeah.
That's an original Doyle. How dare you?
You could have smiled when he did.
So I don't know. Hey, that's better. Did you kick the other one, the real one? Did you say this wasn't worth much?
No, I think he meant the image of you frozen on the screen rather than the work of art.
Yeah, we're going to take that and create an NFT from that.
Yeah, quite right too. Quite right. That whole thing is just mind-blowingly incredible. But also, I remember when I was listening to it, I was thinking, this is so far away from me. But actually, I did the same. I fell into a bit of a rabbit hole as well. It's not that hard.
No, it isn't. It
not
really
that
isn't.
hard.
It's not hard at all. It reminds me of the kind of gold rush that started to happen a few years ago, where I had a friend of mine who used to be really massively obsessed, because I know you're a big gamer, Eric, and with World of Warcraft. So he would grind for hundreds of hours getting all the best gear on this stuff, and then he'd put it on message boards or on eBay and sell the gear. Mm-hmm. It's the same, it's a similar equivalent in terms of kind of selling virtual stuff.
The diamond, the dragon tipped sword of Zarathustra or something like that, for
£1,000.
£1,000, yeah, exactly.
But I think that there's a bigger thing here. So in things like World of Warcraft, you go into that little universe, you invest your time, you basically work a job, and your job is going around creating those things. You can then sell those things to somebody, and those are then a shortcut. So that person doesn't have to grind away for hundreds of hours getting good at the game or going and doing various tasks to win those things for themselves. And you can sell those out in the real world. Like with NFT-enabled works of art, you hang them in your virtual gallery, you potentially charge people to come and see, or you charge advertisers to place adverts on the way into your gallery if it generates footfall. And there's a big but with the whole kind of NFT artworks type thing, which is that if I buy the Doyle, which is hanging on the wall behind Eric, that has not only an artistic value to it, it has a physical value to it as well, because it's a framed print on canvas, which took him time to create. The problem with any digital artwork is that a copy is as good as the original, and there's no limit to how many copies you can make. Now, with an NFT, you can either watermark it, or you can say, well, I have the real one. But actually,
it's on the blockchain, Adam.
But it doesn't.
So it's registered. You're a registered user, so it's on the blockchain.
Absolutely. But if you download, so Eric and I are going to do the Acoustic Monkeys album tonight.
Yeah.
If Eric had sent the, what's that?
$19.99 dollars.
So if Eric had sent me a copy of the CD after he downloaded it onto his machine and copied it into his iTunes, he then sends me a copy of the CD. I can do exactly the same thing. So I've got a copy. The fact that Eric, I then send him back the CD and he says, but I've got the original CD. The fact is we've both got a copy in both of those.
It is, but it's not on the blockchain. With NFT, it's on the blockchain.
Yeah,
so you
absolutely.
can see whether you're the owner of it or not.
But the reality is that I'm not broadcasting my Arctic Monkeys. What I'm doing is just listening to it for my pleasure. And I think the challenge that businesses have is to work out how what they can do in the metaverse, the effect that has on the footprint that they have in the real world, and how they monetize that. So, if you think about your World of Warcraft thing, you go in there, you spend hundreds of hours, you win these tools, you sell those tools in the real world. That's how you monetize your time, but it may not be a high monetization of your time, and it's quite difficult to scale that.
Yeah.
So from a business's perspective, how do you apply what your USP or your product or your service or your insight is into that world and use that world as a tool to scale it? So an obvious thing to do might be to run an event. So you run an event. In a physical event, you have to book the exhibition space. You may well have to book the exhibition space in the metaverse as well. But you book the exhibition space, you build the stands. As your Tim talk yesterday, I think.
No, it's day before.
Yeah, where the guy was saying, you go to these events, there's value in the events, there's value in sitting in the conference hall listening to somebody speak, and you gain knowledge from that. But the real value happens in the corridors when you meet people and greet people. And that's the thing that the metaverse enables, I think, for events that hasn't been there previously. So you can go to an online conference, but let's be honest, none of us get as much value from an online conference as we do from a real conference, because there isn't that opportunistic networking capability there. But when I'm walking down the corridors to go to the next thing, and I see Eric, his avatar, walking down the corridor as well, I turn to him and go, Eric, hello, mate, how's it going? We have a chat. We say, actually, we're not going to go at this talk. We're going to go and grab a coffee because we've got something else to talk about. That's the value.
And I think the same as in social, it's the creativity and it's the content that brings people there in the first place in order to create that space for people to have that conversation is the important part of the driver to it.
It is, but I do think that a lot of time, we're falling back into this thing that where people make the mistake of thinking, because I'm interested in this content, it's interesting content. And, we see loads and loads and loads of online events where people have said, we're going to create this thing here and we're going to talk about this product or service or issue that you have to overcome. And actually what's noticeable is the fact that it's like watching tumbleweed blow past, because no one cares. No one cares about what it is that those people are so passionate about. And I think that's the problem, isn't it, with the content? Whether you hang a work of art or you play a piece of music or you share some IP or you share some insight, actually so often the seller, and this is the fundamental marketing challenge, the seller views it from their perspective, not from the consumer's perspective. So it's like when you do, and what one of my pet hates is this whole kind of, well, we're going to do some customer journey mapping. It's never about the customer's buying journey. It's always about my selling journey. That's what journey mapping is about, to understand how I can leverage my product, my insights to make somebody buy something. Never about thinking, well, actually, what help do you need, Nick? It's always about what help can I give you that will make you buy my product? And therein lies the fundamental problem.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That was the epiphany moment I had about a year ago, where I was like, it's not about you, it's about them. Make it as much as humanly possible about them, and you'll win long term, which is not that difficult. But
Adam always uses. Sorry, Lenwood, go on.
I have a question about the NFTs. I don't really understand that very much, so that's why I have some questions, I guess. Can you copy an NFT?
So an NFT is
unless you're allowed to.
Unless you're allowed to by the person
it's on the
who is
blockchain.
the owner. That's the whole idea of the blockchain, is that
because the blockchain gives you in effect is a digital mechanism that allows you to register something.
Right.
So the obvious example is in qualifications. So quite often if you go for a job nowadays and you say, I've got a degree in this, I've got a degree in that, and they'll say, in the old days they used to say, show us your certificates. Now what you can do is you can actually load all your certificates onto the blockchain, and there is a place, and you can say, well, you can go to the blockchain, you can look at all my certificates, they're all there.
Right. It's effectively
you have them, they're registered against you.
It's an authenticity. It's a proof of authenticity.
Yes.
So an NFT is a unique thing. So it could be, as Tim said, a certificate that's unique to you. It could be something physical like a diamond. It doesn't stop someone from copying it, but it stops somebody from being able to claim ownership of it. I saw a great video on this where it said, so NFTs might be things like works of art, or they might be certificates, or they might be physical things that are unique. Whereas FTs, fungible tokens, are things that have a value, but they are completely interchangeable. So a $1 bill would be a fungible token. It's worth $1. If I swap my $1 bill for your $1 bill, we've both got the same thing. And it's the same with cans of Coca-Cola and a Snickers bars.
So
If-
whoa.
we got slides.
Was that Eric, or
That was some subtle testing there.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
good.
went so fast.
I went so fast. No one will notice in the final edit. No one will see it.
Did you just out of interest, Eric? Did you when there were two of you on screen? Is that because you'd logged out of your PC and logged back in with a Mac?
Clearly, yes, on an iPhone, yes. It was like those TikTok videos, you know, where they go, no one.
Oh,
will
they keep
know.
overlaying. Yeah.
No, and they go, no one will know. How will they know? No one will know. No one will know. No one will see that. No one will see that. Carry on.
No one noticed that at all. Oh my goodness, so funny. So the reason why I was asking that question is because in the physical art world, right, you can have a work of art that's the original and that has a very high value.
Yep.
And then you can have like these prints that are somewhat less valuable of that original work of art. And people like to have those in their house. I mean, most people know that when they walk, they're almost, I mean, you can't really tell, right? So like, for example, if you had a Chagall, it might be $10,000 or $15,000, but you get one of these Chagall prints and that might be $400. If you had a poster, that would be like maybe $10. So are the NFTs like when it's art? Is it like that? Is it like that original owner's got the original one's got a huge amount of value? Then the next one, like they could have like issue prints, you know, so that other people can have like a copy in their digital
thing
world.
is that the NFT defines for a piece of art, defines the copyright of the piece of art. So if you've got the original and you've paid a lot of money for the original is yours.
Yeah.
What you choose to do with the original, you can license prints to it. You can license whatever in the same way you would with your Chagall. Is that a Chagall on the wall behind you, incidentally?
What I don't get with NFTs though, if it's effectively a digital signature for a piece of digital artwork, a piece of digital artwork is a collection of pixels. If I take two of those pixels and move them around, suddenly it's a completely different piece of artwork.
Theoretically,
but you wouldn't notice. So how does that work?
I saw a really interesting article on futurism.com about pirating NFTs. And someone had created a database of NFTs. So like used to happen with LimeWire and those kind of torrent sharing sites sort of 20 years ago. Similar kind of thing, but you can download a load of NFTs from there.
Was everyone knew the torrent guy at work? Was anyone the torrent guy here? Is anyone willing to put their hand up and say I was the torrent guy?
No.
Oh, no one's willing to say it.
No one's willing to say it.
I definitely was not.
Did you know a torrent guy?
I knew a torrent guy. Yeah.
Peer-to-peer sharing is not illegal. Okay, it's
the basis of Skype.
Yeah.
Why did you come booming in like a deity there over the top of us? Like, whoa, Tim! I don't know if you've got multiple versions of you open there.
I've got multiple versions of me.
Oi.
So you've got the NFT one and then the forgery one.
Yeah.
We're getting a small amount of feedback there.
A small amount of feedback there, Tim. Do you want me to circle back on
You
what I was
should.
trying
We
to
won't
do
be getting
earlier?
it now. I've turned it off.
Okay. Do you want me to circle back on where I was going or not?
Do you want me to share the slide for you?
Right. Yeah, well, can I put it in context first before you do it?
Yeah.
So I've been bashing on about this. I put it in a couple of blogs. I've been bashing on about it for a while, but I want to circle back because actually when you go in and unpick this, it's massive. It's massive, right? And we talk about the fact that clues are out there for the advancement of the human race in the B2B space, right? So September the 21st, LinkedIn and Edelman together. So the trust gurus and the professional connection gurus got together and did a B2B Thought Leadership Impact Report. Let me just read this out, because this is, if you haven't seen this, and we'll put the link to the study in the chat. Let me just frame this up, because let's take a beat to think about this. This is how they table this. B2B customer engagement is entering a new era. The COVID-19 pandemic rapidly accelerated digital selling, driving a permanent shift in how brands reach high-value business-to-business audiences. Against that backdrop, Edelman and LinkedIn collaborated on the 4th annual B2B Thought Leadership Impact Study to examine how thought leadership influences perception and buying behaviors amongst the B2B decision makers. Right? This year's study, which only came out in September, reveals that a tidal wave of content marketing is making it harder for companies to connect with B2B customers and prospects, right? They have gathered insights from nearly 3,600 management level professionals across sectors and across geographies, right? Who consume thought leadership material to help marketers, communicators, and salespeople better understand what's behind this trend and how to break through the noise, including when to use thought leadership and what attributes B2B audiences want to see from those companies. This study is available to anyone. You go in, you go to the link, and you can download this page. There's a thing in there. We talk about the fact that there's a breadcrumb trail. You'd have to have as a business leader, as a sales professional, a RevOps leader, a CEO, you'd pretty much have to have your head in the sand to not realize that the ground has been shaken a bit outside the office, right? The horizon has changed. And we're just there's an embarrassment of riches of data to support the fact that the digital transformation should be on the boardroom table as point number one. There's a slide in here which we've used many times before, but I just want to go over it again because it's building more and more. This little slide, just a couple of words, but it gets more and more important every day.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that. Look at that. Right. So Edelman, the trust gurus who go out there and they talk to and examine the global trust in things like religious leaders, in government, in politicians, in state and local government, the whole. Oh, hi Tim. And also now CEOs, right? So let's just unpack this. Earning trust and credibility. 3,600 management level professionals are giving us this advice from their company's perspective. 64% of buyers, the kind of people that will buy your products and services, say that an organization's thought leadership content is a more trustworthy basis for assessing its capabilities and competency than its marketing materials and product sheets. Now, I used to just focus on the left-hand side there. On the right-hand side, there's some really cool stuff too. 63% of buyers also say that thought leadership is important in providing proof that an organization genuinely understands or can solve your specific business challenges.
Yeah.
This is huge. It's a flippant little slide. It means nothing out of context. The depth of this, when you farm this and you really think about this and apply it to your daily thinking, your business, your department, your whatever, is absolutely massive. And this is one of the slides that I think had the most impact on my little talk the other night, because people were like, okay, but surely that doesn't apply to my sector. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, absolutely. So if buyers are looking for thought leadership, that means that the territory and the ownership of thought leadership, we need to get that across all of our people. And I referenced on a previous live, she's not a client, she just happens to be a digital friend in our network. It really caught me, because we look at a lot of content. It really caught me the other day that there's a lady, she might be listening today. Her name's Beth Alexander. She works for a company called Zinc 360. She's a marketing coordinator. She put out a piece of an article, a first ever article, because she was inspired to do so. And she wrote a piece about how she's incredibly introverted. And she wrote a piece about introvert, extrovert in business, and how those things can be super strengths, or in some cases, weaknesses or perceived weaknesses. And she wrote a piece about that. She never said I'm a marketing professional coordinator, and she never said buy our stuff. That piece of thought leadership, which was, I'm a professional, I have some thoughts about how the world works, and I'd like to share those, is one of the best articles I've read this year. And she's not a PhD, she's not a CEO, she's a normal person who's actually decided, I'm going to put out some really cool thought leadership stuff there. It's attracted so much attention to her and her business That article had nothing to do with marketing. It had everything to do with marketing. It had nothing to do with her company. It had everything to do with her company. I love this slide, and I love the context behind it. And I think really putting a magnifying glass over that and looking through the lens of your own company and thinking about this deeply, not just brushing over it, is super important.
Yes.
End of preach.
Well,
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Eric. I have a question though.
Yeah.
What is driving that? What do you think is driving this issue with trust and credibility among?
I think the clue's in the opening. When you click on the website, of which I can put into the chat right now, when you click onto the website that supports and hosts this study, this year's study revealed that a tidal wave of content marketing that's making it really hard for companies to connect with B2B customers and prospects is causing problems. I think it's in there.
So in that study, it also worked. It said, so what do people want from content? And that was quite interesting. What they want is people to be original, and they don't want people to be salesy. What people want in content is that they say that they want people to strike a more human, personable tone. They also want people to be provocative and challenge. And so what they want is someone to come up with an opinion. And it's a really interesting report. You know what it proves. Another piece of research that proves people don't want brochures, and they don't want brochureware. What they want is insightful, educational, thought-provoking, entertaining content.
Yeah, they want to know what's in your head. They want to understand what the people that they possibly might be working with. So that article that Beth put out gives so much insight. In isolation, it's just an article put out by a marketing coordinator.
Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoy it. I think it's wonderful. It's a great, and there are other great pieces of gems, content-worthy gems in there. So that article actually, as well as giving us an insight into how Beth thinks, it actually tells us way more about that company as well. And buyers are tuning into this. So Beth's company allows their staff to write articles and content that's not specifically about their products and services. They support that. So they're supporting diverse cognitive activity within their business. They're an open culture. It tells you a little bit that the management maybe support free speech and things like that within context. The management pay attention to social. The management, it tells you a lot about potentially what the cultural insights could be to that organization, as well as just there's a little article by someone out there. Imagine all of your team are doing that.
It's also much, much more effective, isn't it? Because we've all been in a situation where we've said something to a room full of people, and people have just kind of sat there like that. And then the person next to us has said what we thought was exactly the same thing, and the room's gone, oh, fantastic. and the reason for that is that the words that Beth chose were words that particularly resonated with you and potentially many other people as well. Now, she may have been saying exactly the same thing as other people in the organization, but the fact that she was using her words which had a particular resonance with you, that's the key thing, isn't it? When you empower everybody across an organization to speak, then people engage with people that speak like they do, because there's less ambiguity and more kind of understanding.
There's more diversity in that context between all those people.
And I think that the nice thing about that is that what it does is it gives scale to the message from the organization at the most authentic way, rather than just pumping out more of the same. So you guys know that I shared an advert that had cropped up on my newsfeed the other day, and it says, and I won't talk about the company, this particular company had advertised, and it says, want to scale your email marketing from newsletters to transactional emails? Learn how this company uses our company to send a high volume of emails without interruption. And then the headline is how this company uses our company to send millions of emails every day. And that is the very crux of the problem, isn't it? The fact that I'm just going to bulldoze this content at people and kill some people in the process without really thinking about, is the content any good? Is the content resonating with the audience? Do the audience want to hear this? Who in the audience should have this? It's just it's a scale game, and that's why none of us respond to email anymore.
I got an email from an organization that was wishing me a happy Thanksgiving.
Perfect.
It's irrelevant for me. It's like, why are you wasting your breath with this? I go unsubscribe.
It's like, so we need to make sure that we send a note to Lenwood on the Queen's birthday.
Yeah. It's
same bag.
And what we want is context. And if anyone's the thing that I've sit in so many presentations about personalization, and the thing is what we hear, what people hear when they hear the word personalization, is not that we're going to send 1,000 emails. Is that they think what we're going to do is we're going to send one email. Now we all have a number of things in common. We don't have any hair. There's a whole bunch of things, but actually we're all different. I can't remember. There's a thing about the fact that you work out these persona and these attributes of these personas, and you say one's Prince Charles and one's is Ozzy Osbourne, and the two people are just completely different in terms of where they come from and where they and it just it's I don't need emails that say Happy Thanksgiving. It's irrelevant to me.
I think with buyers also, we talk about how there are many more people in the buying process, right, in organizations, and how you've got to be able to influence, right, that whole team. But what the number of people in the buying process is a symptom of is really the complexity of problems. And I think more and more buyers are simply saying that we can't afford to have people who are not adding value to solving the problem in the value network. Okay, so we've got to deliver a certain value, whether it's an internal end user or an external user. And we've got to create a team, which includes outside vendors. So we're going out to buy something. And we need every person in that value chain to actually deliver value. We cannot afford to have someone who is just selling, right? Just here's the... And I think I'm not saying that's all of it, but I think that is driving some of this, desire to have people know what they're talking about, not just be regurgitating some marketing script, but actually really understand both the problem and the solution.
Yeah, totally.
If you go into any electrical shop now that sells electrical goods in the UK, now I know you can buy electrical goods on the internet, but people still go into electrical shops. If you talk to any of the people, the companies that still exist, they didn't used to be like this, but the ones that exist, when you walk in and you say, you'll have a salesman say, so what do you want the 4K TV for? They'll ask you what your requirements are, and then they'll explain it to you. And those are and that's the same in whether it's in business to consumer, where something like a 4K TV is a considered purchase, or a BMW, which is a considered purchase, as well as in business to business, where people have to actually understand the business requirement and also understand the solution. Yeah.
I actually posted a post a few months back. It was about a trip that I went to Home Depot, and I'm a do-it-yourselfer at home. I like to fix things. The neighbors have noticed that about me. I'm always out doing something.
I'm interested. How far do you take it? Do you stop with electricity and gas, or do you
electricity and gas? But
yep,
almost.
cool.
I've undertaken some ambitious plumbing project.
You can't use the toilet downstairs in his house. You still got to use the bucket.
Oh, the fridge goes off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's actually not a little. I won't say it's a problem, but my wife and daughters, they really think I can fix almost anything. So
of course,
dad. They'll break something and they'll be like, "Take it to dad. He can fix it." you know. And I'm looking at it like, what are you guys thinking? Like, this is irreparably broken.
I've got a confession. I've got a confession to make. Whenever any of that stuff goes wrong, I once, it's my secret shame. We had our electric shower broke once, and I called Dial a Hobby to fix it.
Dial a Hobby.
Dial a Hobby. A hobby.
Dial a Hobby.
Dial a Hobby.
Dial a
Oh,
Hobby.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Dial a Hobby.
You're not the hubby. We need a different hubby.
I don't do DIY.
When the doorbell rang and he came in, did you just look at the floor and go, "Stop there"?
Pretty much.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man,
secret shame.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, I'm a do-it-yourself. So I went to the Home Depot with an idea about what I thought it was going to take to fix this, little repair that I wanted to do. It wasn't a big deal, but I just had an idea about what I wanted to do. And I went in, looking to accomplish that by buying the different pieces that I needed. And then I saw this guy, Denny, who is an older guy who's just walking the aisles, right? This is what he's supposed to do around the plumbing section. Do you need any help? And standing there talking to Denny, we came up with a solution that was very different from what I was originally and cost much less, right? That's a great customer experience. And then I did a post about it. I took a picture with Denny and I said, hey, Denny, help me out.
You did.
This is a great. Now, the interesting thing about that is that model was the model that the founders of Home Depot started with. You go to the hardware store, there are these people there that know what they're doing, and they can tell you how to fix whatever you need to do, and then you go and do it yourself. Home Depot had huge success based on that model. When the founders kind of retired, they brought in some Wall Street managers, and they said, we got to get rid of all these people, cut costs, do all this stuff. And all of a sudden, Home Depot stock starts going down, and then they start investigating what's the issue. They had taken all these knowledgeable people who were helping customers in the store out.
It's kind of like when a company decides to, which has been based on social media user-generated content being their kind of like advertising base. It's kind of like when a company like that decides to stop using social media.
Yeah.
I think we call that closing the loop, don't you, Eric?
Yeah. Indeed. My goodness me.
I'm surprised at what you said though, Lenwood, because normally what happens is, as a man, you go in there and says, can somebody help you? And men say, no, I already know.
Yeah, I mean, you do that. You lose enough hours. Like I said, I've done many home improvement. I mean, all kinds of home improvement projects, and time is critically important. So I still want to do it, but I want to do it in as little time as possible. So now I've just swallowed my pride, and I say, and then I tell them, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Help a brother out.
Yeah.
So
Can I get you on the speed dial, please, Lenwood?
Yeah. Adam has a mate who's a famous actor, and he's been in situations where he's been standing in the equivalent of the queue, the line at Home Depot or Home Depot.
Depot is how we say it here, brother.
Yeah. So he's standing in the line at Home Depot. And people come up to him and basically like act out scenes from things that he's been in.
Yeah, and some of them are. So he was in The Office, in the original series of The Office.
In the UK office, not the.
And it's one of the funniest episodes.
It is.
Funniest episodes.
It's the best episode.
It's the one where we get free love on the free love freeway.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, people come and shout this particular line, which is not the line that you want shouted at you when you're in the line at.
I know. I think I can guess that one. There's been something up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he said they would then look at him because he's very good at keeping a stony face. They always look at him and say, "It's you, isn't it? It is you." And he just totally.
But I you know, just about. And you, Nick, did you watch the UK Office?
I have a confession to make. I haven't watched any.
You've never
I've not
seen
watched
the
any.
UK Office?
I've never watched the UK version of The Office, and I've never watched the US version. I don't know. The trouble is, I think if I dip into it now, it may not have necessarily aged well. So I'm
No,
a huge
it's
Friends fan.
it's
has
beautiful.
aged
It's still it's
Still funny.
brilliant. If you're going to
Okay.
watch one episode, watch Training from 2001 with Vince Franklin as the trainer that comes into the office, and David Brent can't allow him to be the alpha trainer, and it's just gorgeous. It is just gorgeous, and we've all been in those like office training environments when the trainer comes in to do the course that we have to do.
But it's not,
guys.
It's not even the training environment. It's any environment, isn't it? You go to a meeting. You've done client meetings where you're in as the expert,
Yeah.
and the client says, "Well, actually, I'm a bit good at social myself."
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah,
It
There you
is
go, then.
fantastic the way
I've got-
that it keeps repeating
I'm actually.
itself.
Yeah, we've
actually-
actually been giving this some thought, and what we think is that what the people should do is like, you've got me in as the expert.
Yeah. And why have we spent the last minutes talking about the fact that you've got 299 followers on Instagram?
Yeah, and no pipeline.
That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say toodly bye because I need to go and entrepreneur life. I need to go and pick up my daughter from school.
Fair enough.
Thanks,
I will,
Nick. Thanks for coming.
I will see you anon. See you later, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
See you
Nick.
later, everyone.
Take care. Have a
Bye.
great
Bye.
weekend.
Just to translate for our American cousins there, I think he said toodly bye.
Toodle pip. Old chap.
Toodle pip. Toodle pip. So we've gone through thought leadership. We've gone through companies deciding to leave social media. Watch this space. Let's be talking about this in a couple of weeks' time when they've decided to come back.
Yeah. Well, they will be back ASAP when they realise where they've gone wrong, won't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then they'll have a nice new PR stunt to say we're back. It's great, but we're coming back with measure.
Hey, but it won't wash, will it?
Oh, the sweet smell of success.
So how many soap puns can we get over the next 3 minutes?
I think you need to soft soap the audience, really, don't you? First of all.
Yeah. I think we need to soak up some of these ideas and wash away some of the bad feeling.
You guys were so dry.
Bernard's your uncle. I've not heard that one before, Simon.
Right, are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
We
yeah.
are good.
Thank
was
you,
excellent.
everybody, for tuning in and all the debate.
Yeah,
And thanks to Lenwood and Nick and Adam and Eric.
and you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Outstanding.
Great seeing you
Yeah.
guys.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
You too.
Toodly
Take
bye.
care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Diddly pip.
GTFN.